the bottom line is you're still going to have challenges. I think that's a total misconception. He was giving a presentation and he said, I had a man come to me and he said, you got to help me. I have been searching my entire life for happiness and for peace, and I think you can help me find it. And he said, I have literally gotten to the state where I feel like I am really evolved. I've achieved a level of emotional and material success that I never dreamed of, and yada, yada, yada. And I still have one issue. I still have challenges that come up. What I want you to show me is how can I get rid of those challenges? And Norman Vincent Peale says, oh my gosh, you came to the perfect person. I most certainly can. I've spent my entire life looking at this.
Hi, I'm Annette Bau, host of the Wealth Inside and Out podcast and founder of the Millionaire Insider. My mission is to help you simplify the money game so you can create a financially secure and fulfilled life without having to have a PhD or spend countless hours on your finances. You're going to learn how to think like a millionaire, stop worrying about money and wondering if your financial house is truly in order, and instead spend your time doing what you love. With over 3 decades advising 7, 8, and even 9-figure millionaires, and now joining that elite group, I'm in a unique position to help you make the best financial choices so you can create a secure financial future and retirement you love. This is the Wealth Inside and Out podcast.
Today's free resource is our Millionaire Mindset Guide. You can go to themillionaireinsider.com/MMG. Let's face it, if you want more money, you want to live a truly wealthy, healthy, and fulfilled life, you've got to think differently. The one thing that fulfilled millionaires do differently and do very well is how they think, how they show up, how they connect the dots, how we're at point A and we can see point B really clearly and we're able to connect that. If you want to access this free resource, you can go to themillionaireinsider.com/MMG. It's going to help you to really start thinking like a millionaire so ultimately you can do more of what they do and improve your results. For today's show notes, you can go to themillionaireinsider.com/106. All materials and intellectual property are copywritten by themillionaireseries.com. All rights and information are reserved. Before beginning any plan, you agree to consult with your own team of advisors and review your situation. All participants agree to hold millionaireseries.com and its affiliates harmless for results achieved or not achieved, and any reproduction of this material is allowed only with written authorization from themillionaireseries.com. All international copyrights are reserved. So let's dive into, is rich better? Are you sure? I was so fascinated by it because I thought, if somebody who's a multimillionaire is asking this, other people have this question, and the fact that somebody that's a decamillionaire is saying, no, it's not, was what really got me interested. So just so to give you a little bit backstory, is being rich better than not? Throughout my career, I've heard 2 perspectives. Those who say wealthy is not better, and oftentimes those are people without money. Sometimes they believe it corrupts or brings negative consequences. Sometimes it's faith-based, right? Those who say wealth is better usually are people who have money and see it as life-changing. Now, this is typical, right? Not always, but typical. What I have found personally in my own career and working with people is that those who say it's not better almost always are justifying not having money. Now, I'm not saying that if that's true or not, but it's always like they're corrupt, they're this, they're that. So again, you got to make your own judgment call on where you are. But I think that there are people that have money clearly that are corrupt, that are, do whatever they want. They don't care who they stomp over in the process. So, you can find that, but then you can also find people that don't have money that are corrupt. So I think it's a matter of you just got to kind of look at it and you got to make your own decision, right? It's not necessarily right or wrong. But what got me so fascinated with this was that I took a certification course. And when I heard the founder challenging the idea that money improves your lives, I was shocked. In fact, the woman next to me, who was also a multimillionaire, we were like, what? And I then started talking to all these other women because she attracts a lot of multimillionaires. All of us were like, really? And so I thought it was interesting because she was literally the first wealthy person I'd ever heard say that. And the question has stayed with me. And recently, Samuel J. asked the same question, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do an episode on this. I'm going to do a training on this because I think it's an interesting question that gets us all thinking about the concept of wealth and money. What I want you to think about from this perspective is focusing in on the feeling someone has by having money and the impact it can have on their life. So as you go through this, I want you to just be thinking when you're talking with somebody and they're not really motivated to save or they want to enjoy life now, is focusing in on the benefit they get by doing something. They get by taking this action. And if you do one thing from the call today, focus on that feeling. What is it that you want to feel? Most people want to make choices that are the best for their family and themselves. They want to not worry. They want to have a better life for themselves and their families. And so as you go through this, I want you to be thinking about that because those emotional payoffs, my friends, are what are the key. She was literally one of the first wealthy people that I've ever heard say that. And as I mentioned, this stayed with me for some time. So I decided I was going to ask 100 of my wealthy friends, clients, and peers and see what they said. And it was fascinating because literally I did not have one person that I asked that said it was worse having money than not. In fact, when I asked them why it's better, even those that were facing challenges, is they said two things. Do you want to guess what they said? They said freedom and choices. My friends, most people are after freedom and choices. I can remember one day I was feeling kind of burnt out and, I was thinking, I have so much to do. I have so much to do. I was at my second home and I was like, who am I to be feeling bad or feeling upset? People would die for my life. It was so interesting to think about the benefits of wealth, right? The opportunity that you can basically go and do whatever you feel like doing. You have choices. You have freedom. You can choose to work or not work. And the only reason I've now dialed down on really working and starting, really vamping up my advisory business is because I'm concerned about a lot of factors that are going to impact a lot of people who aren't super wealthy. And they could impact wealthy people, but they're going to more impact what I identify as the forgotten millionaire, like 1 to 5 million. And I just think that there's huge opportunities to be able to help those people create their own retirement so that they're not having to worry about cuts to Social Security or even losing Social Security. And so it just gives me something to do instead of worrying about, are they going to be okay? As you go through this, I just want you to be thinking about you and your family, your situation to determine what is best for you and why you want money. What is the feeling you're after? We're going to dive into 5 reasons why wealth is better. So the first one is money solves problems. Now, these responses, I agree with all of them, but these were literally ones that came from multi-millionaires. So I thought that was interesting. Most financial struggles, whether it's health, education, or safety, can be solved with money. And I can remember early on, one of my friends said her dad would always say, "Can money solve it?" And if the answer is yes, you don't have a problem. I thought that was such a great insight. You need to be able to afford whatever you need to afford. So for example, if you need alternative health care or specialized training or to help your children in their community who can't afford food or their lunch, those are things, but it gives you an opportunity to solve problems. You get access to the high quality medical. You can advocate for yourself as far as about your money. You can afford trips with your family and friends. Now, one of the biggest things that I will say as far as when it comes to medical care, I got long COVID, and I don't know if I got it from vaccine or from the actual COVID, but all I know is I had to go through alternative health care, and it was $450 an hour. And my naturopath was $175 an hour. My friends, if I didn't have money, I couldn't have afforded that. So that's something I'm talking about. One of our friends' sons wanted to go on a major trip with the whole group. It was all the friends. Well, his parents couldn't afford to. So all of us that had money pitched in so he could go. It solves problems. It gives us opportunities. Number 2 is it provides choices. You can afford the best education or the best health care or the best food. The experiences, including donating to your favorite charities and giving to people randomly. Now, that is one of my favorite things. I absolutely love paying for somebody's groceries, or my all-time favorite is the dollar store. Now, my kids love the dollar store, and I always wondered why. And I think it's because we never really let them just buy stuff. Like, we were pretty tight as far as money goes. Yeah, we had nice vacations, and yeah, they got to do some things, but when it came to just spending money, it was never a free-for-all. And we'd go to the dollar store, and I would sit there and I would just watch people, and I would watch people that would come to the checkout line, and the ones that looked like, oh my gosh, they don't have any money, and I would just go up and buy their stuff. I would have people crying. Like, it was fascinating, and I just felt good. I felt like it was so good, and these people were so kind and so nice, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't take it. I go, just pay it forward. And some of them you could just tell. It was just like their entire body language, their entire energy shifted. I want you to imagine for 1 minute waking up and not feeling overwhelmed, like you need a break from work or life, like you can take it. That's what money does. Do you have enough money and freedom in your life to take off a week or a month or even a year? I look at some of my clients and even some of my friends, and the conversations you have are, well, my son wants to go to Cabo, or my son wants to go to California, or my son wants to go skiing. And so, we're going to go skiing, then we're going to go to the beach. Those are the opportunities that people that have money are able to say yes to. Where does your child want to go to school? Now, it was funny because my kids, we said, you go where you want. And both of them, which is just shocking to me, both of them elected to go to a state school where they had a scholarship, and it was here. And my one son said, the only other school that's better was a school that was cold. It was in the Midwest. And he said, why would I go to a school in the Midwest that's only like 2 levels up, ranked as far as a better business school, than go to ASU, have most of it paid for, and be able to be in warm weather? And I was shocked because that particular son has never said anything about saving my money. But the point being is, having that choice is what it's all about. Another thing I share, as many of you know, my son plays volleyball for the university. Almost all the tournaments are in California. And most of the parents don't attend, partly because it's expensive, but it's also because, they have to take time off of work. And it's hard, and it's a lot to be able to juggle. We literally go to every one of his tournaments. And that is what money allows you to do, is it allows you to do things you want to do. One of the things that wealth and money does is it allows you to reduce the feelings of overwhelm and stress. It allows you to take breaks when you need them, to spend time with family, and to eat good food with those close to us. And then having the choice of where you attend school, as well as how you spend time with your family. Those things are really important because that's really what life is all about. Money enhances your worth barometer. Now, your worth barometer is a combination of your belief and self-esteem. When it's combined with wealth, it allows you to live a wealthy, healthy, fulfilled life. You see the world differently. You grow personally while becoming more compassionate. You do more good, and you're able to give to charities and people you want to. If you think about it, one of the biggest challenges is the fact that a lot of people would like to donate money to their favorite causes, whatever it may be, whether it's their church, whether it's a charity, maybe it's even cancer research, whatever it is. When you have money, you can do that. When you don't, you can't. Money gives time and emotional freedom. With financial security, you can focus on personal growth, relationships, and mental well-being. Money allows you to live your best life. So what does your daily routine look like? Do you have enough time to pray, to meditate, to practice yoga, to exercise, to eat healthy, to spend time with family and friends, or do whatever you feel like doing. One of the changes I made in my life once I achieved my financial goals was really creating a strong, solid inner game routine. I'm in the best physical and mental shape I've been my entire life. I meditate every day. I do an hour of yoga every morning. I walk a mile in the morning. I get 10,000 steps a day. I eat a very healthy diet, and I weight train 3 times a week. And then go to yoga classes probably another 2, sometimes 3 times a week. That's what I'm talking about. That may not be your goal or your objective, but it allows you to do what you want. And that, my friends, is what I find so important. So many people are burnt out and so many people are exhausted. I think right now people are exhausted because there's just a lot of chaos in the world. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of people who are very nervous about it. And so, this is a real good time for us to take a step back and really focus in on what we want our life to look like and where we need to be financially to make that a reality. All right, more money, more impact. Do you have enough money to donate to your favorite causes and charities? When we have money and wealth, we can contribute meaningful to causes that matter to us and our family. What I love doing is we do this for our clients, but we donate to charities like St. Mary's Food Bank, the Salvation Army, cancer research, animal shelters, and it just feels so good to help others out. And I really like to donate to charities that aren't just handing out, but that are really helping people get out of a situation and get back on their feet. That's what I'm always looking for. All right, the bottom line, money amplifies who you are. And almost every single person that I talked to agreed with this. In fact, I can't think of one that didn't. With a healthy mindset, wealth is going to bring you less stress, less worry, less anxiety, more freedom, more choices, and joy, and the ability to help others and create an impact. Ultimately, having more money means having more control over your life, and that's why being rich is better. Now, if you're just rich because you just want it for yourself and you just want you to be okay, it's probably not. The bottom line is you're still going to have challenges. I think that's a total misconception. One of my favorite stories is on Norman Vincent Peale, and I've read this story, and then I actually had a friend who was in the audience when he shared it. So Norman Vincent Peale was a best-selling author, and his whole concept of positive thinking is what made him famous. He has written several books. He was giving a presentation, and he said, I had a man come to me, and he said, you got to help me. I have been searching my entire life for happiness and for peace, and I think you can help me find it. And he said, I have literally gotten to the state where I feel like I am really evolved. Success that I never dreamed of, and yada, yada, yada. And I still have one issue. I still have challenges that come up. What I want you to show me is how can I get rid of those challenges? And Norman Vincent Peale says, oh my gosh, you came to the perfect person. I most certainly can. I've spent my entire life looking at this. His office is in New York. He walks out of the office. The guy's following him. They go down. They walk up the block, over the block, down. He goes, where are we going? He goes, you'll see soon. And they turn the corner, and there in front of them is a cemetery. And the guy goes, what's this? He goes, I've been searching the same answer you have, and what I have found is the only time you don't have problems is when you're 6 feet under. So as long as you're living, you're going to have challenges. The question is, how do you handle those challenges? How do you deal with them? Once you know you're always going to have challenges, then it's easier to deal with. Now, this is the key, my friends. Most challenges money solves. So if money solves it, as my friend's dad shared, it's not a problem. So I want you to think about that, my friends. So important. All right, let's recap on is rich better? Number one, money solves problems, whether it's healthcare, whether it is tuition for your kids or grandkids, whether it's donating to your favorite charity, it solves problems. Money provides choices. Where are your kids going to go to school? Where are you going to get your healthcare? What are you going to do next week? What are you going to do next month? What do you do to celebrate your anniversary or your birthday? For my husband's birthday, we went up to wine country, which was on my birthday weekend. Then on his birthday weekend, which got delayed because of the LA fires, we're going to a meditation retreat. And so I'm like, what a trooper my husband is. Not sure that's what he wanted to do, but that's what I wanted for my birthday. It gives you choices. Money enables you to elevate your worth barometer, which is your belief and self-esteem, and show up as a better person. Money gives you more time and emotional freedom. More money gives you more impact. So there you have it, my friends. I want to thank you so much for attending. I hope you enjoyed Is Rich Better? Are You Sure? I'm Annette Ba'u, host of the Millionaire Insider. All international copyrights are reserved. Bye for now.
If you love the content of this podcast, please follow and subscribe to our channel so you get notified of episodes, and also give us a 5-star review and share a comment. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on taking another step to create a financially free life you love. If you're not sure about your financial future or that it's in order, or you are ready to stop worrying about money, or possibly the fear of becoming a bag lady, ending up broke in retirement, or you simply are ready to know your financial house is in order so you can have a bright financial future, please go to themillionaireinsider.com/NSF. And that doesn't stand for non-sufficient funds. It stands for Next Step Finance. It's the next best step of what you need to do so you can avoid an NSF notice in your future. Again, themillionaireinsider.com/NSF. The number of women who were not broke or poor while working or married is staggering. The entire mission of the Wealth Inside and Out podcast is to ensure you have the information for you, your family, your friends, anyone who's willing to listen to it and apply it so that you can create a financially free life you love. Again, themillionaireinsider.com/NSF. Until our next episode, take one action that will help you create a financially free life you love. I'm Annette Ba'u, your host. All international copyrights are reserved. Bye for now.